Okay, let me unmute myself. Reed, let me hear you talk for a second. Okay, stay there for me for 1 second. I'm going to make a quick change on your audio, and then I think. Let me hear you now.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Everyone can see us, so why don't we talk a little bit about what's going to happen, and then I'll give them some of the business details.
Well, thanks, Al. You and I have been working together since at least the last decade. I was going to say since the Wright brothers invented an airplane, but we're not quite that old. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been a heck of a journey. We started off with just a handful of students, and now we're, thousands strong in 50 different countries, doing a lot of good in the world. And so today we just want to take a few minutes. This is a very short and quick um, presentation for our coaches. Some are still in the course, some are graduated, and there may be some people listening who are just interested in the course. So we just want to go over some of our basic principles, right?
Yeah, that's true. And first of all, I just want to tell everyone, congratulations for showing up. Only those, oh, you went to my slides. I didn't know you were going to do that. Thank you. Let me change that. There we go. We're good. I just want to tell everyone that one, you're going to get the replay because you took the initiative to show up. So congratulations for that. Those people who don't show up don't get the replay. Second thing is realize that we're really pulling back the curtain, and most of the people here are either graduated as FDNers already or they're in the middle of the course. There's a number of people here that want to be FDN practitioners or are health coaches or thinking about being health coaches, and we want everyone to realize that we're not selling anything. And in fact, Kay Marie just put something on the screen that I'm going to put right in the video. You can see Kay Marie's picture right now in Facebook and YouTube. So if you have any questions about the course, we won't be taking them and we won't be answering them. But Kay Marie put in the chat on the GoToWebinar side a link that you can click on, and there's one in Facebook and YouTube. So if you're interested in knowing more about FDN, you can click on those links and you can speak to a career counselor. We're not going to address those. This is purely a training to talk about how our FDNs can be as successful as possible. So Reed, I think that is really pretty much the business side of it. So I think you're ready to jump in.
Yeah, if you do have questions, you can put them in the chat box too, because we have staff in there. So regardless of what the question is, we've got someone that's going to put you in the right direction. So here's what's going to be covered today during the training. It's called Why Most Health Coaches Have No Credibility. We don't have that problem. And we're going to cover, why most coaches aren't making it out there. How to set proper expectations so both you and the client get what you expect out of working together. We have the perfect formula for that. What 2 things you should never tell a client? I'm an expert in that. Now, why the more you charge, the happier the client will be. One of the biggest fears people have is charging enough money to make a good living. Let me tell you, you absolutely deserve it. And why every client wants you to run lab tests and which ones. Doctor, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, so first I want to talk about credibility, and this is the key ingredient. If you've ever been to any kind of doctor, and almost everybody here has, and certainly every client you'll ever get has been to a regular practitioner, and what do they expect that practitioner to do? They always expect them to run some kind of lab test. And in fact, if they go to a physician, any kind, and that physician doesn't order some kind of test, they leave there going, well, how's this person going to know what's wrong with me? And when someone has been brought up and really come to expect that anytime they go to see somebody for a health challenge or to reach a health goal, that someone's going to run a lab test. If you're a health coach and you don't run lab tests, then you will have no credibility in their eyes. They'll wonder why you didn't run a lab test. As an FDNer, and again, most of you here are FDNers, what happens is you are running lab tests. If you're a health coach not running lab tests, I'm going to tell you right now that you have a lot of challenges with credibility in the clients that come to you. It's the number one thing they expect from anyone that's a professional health coach, a professional physician, whatever it is. So that really is the key to it. That's where you start building your credibility.
Right on, man. So, without lab testing, as Dr. Al just alluded to, you're not meeting client expectations and needs. They want to know what's really wrong with them. And this is why I don't understand psychiatry, because they don't run any tests yet. They do a lot of prescribing. Anyway, we also need to look at the whole person, pictures. We need to know how to assess metabolic chaos. We're going to define that for you. It's really the secret to everything. We do creating personalized health building plans, because there's no one plan, no one diet, no one sleep program, no one exercise program that's right for anyone. And basically, you're taking a shot in the dark if you're not running the labs, and you'll never resolve metabolic chaos.
You know, the picture that Reed has on the screen right now of the ripples in the pond is really a critical sort of metaphor for the clients that come to see you. Now, if you throw a pebble in a stream or a lake, you know where that first pebble landed. So all these other ripples came after. But in most cases, every client that comes to you like those ripples, but you didn't see who threw the rock in. And in most cases, that client doesn't know what started the process and the problems they have. So they come to you with all these ripples, and it's your job to be able to figure out why all those ripples are there. You'll never know which is the first ripple, but you know that you have to fix all those ripples. And that's what really metabolic chaos is. Understanding that you have to deal with all the ripples in the pond to fix the people that come to you. And one of the things that we talk about now is that people now are coming to you and they're expecting you to assess, are they low risk, are they high risk? What is their overall health status? They want to be healthier now for the first time. It's not just I'm fatigued. It's not that I just have brain fog. What they really need now more than ever is really to understand the whole thing. That's what they want. They want to know everything about what's going on and how to make them low risk, so if anything like a pandemic comes along, they're not scared of it.
Yeah, buddy, that sure messed up a lot of people. So it kind of looks like this. What Dr. Al was saying is that people come to you with, let's say they've got some tiredness, fatigue, they've got some weight they can't shed. Usually people with this will have thinning hair, constipation for sure. Their extremities might be cold or even numb, and they feel sad. So, oh, that sounds like thyroid. Well, that's an endocrine function. And if you have a thyroid problem, you have endocrine dysfunction. But is that the problem, or is that the result of the problem? We're in this diagram, you see that metabolic chaos is a perfect term for what's going on in the body. It is going to cause endocrine dysfunction, and thyroid symptoms might show up. But endocrine dysfunction also contributes to more metabolic chaos. So you end up with people who've got other problems, nerve cells. You could have carb metabolism issues. You could have fat and protein turnover issues, and everything starts to show up. And again, like the ripples in the pool, which one came first? Which one should you work on? And we have the magic formula for you coming right up.
Yeah, and metabolic chaos, as an FDNer, that's what we train you in. And really, that's what makes you unique over any other health coach. You're the only people that understand metabolic chaos and understand just how each of these circles represent the ripples in that pond. No one else is trained in metabolic chaos except you, an FDNer, which is hugely powerful. It's perfect for where we are now in terms of what's going on in people's health and their challenges.
Yep, amen to that. So what we do is we take a kind of, it's like a screenshot of everything going inside your body. It's like trying to identify a constellation in the sky. I had a lady ask me the other day on a clubhouse call, I've got this marker, so-and-so, it was on a stool test. Can you tell me what's wrong with me? No, because you're giving me 1 point of light in a dark sky and saying, what constellation is that? Is that the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper? Is that Orion? Is that Capricorn? Who is it? Now I love the night sky and stars and things, and I play this game all the time about what constellation is that. But if you only show me one star, there's no way I'm going to resolve your health issue. You can't treat one thing. By the way, as health coaches, we're not licensed to treat one thing. So only doctors can do that. And it doesn't work. So why bother, right?
Absolutely. You know, you'll see over here on the diagram, this is really the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lab tests that you have access to as an FDNer, and which one should you be running? All of them, because each one of those represent a circle in the pond, and the only way for you to determine what's wrong with your client, which is their metabolic chaos, is to run every lab test. Stop choosing a lab test. You're trained to run all the lab tests, and you run the lab test because it gives you all the opportunities to really help that client. So never make a judgment, maybe I'll run the hormone test. No, you run all the tests just like we teach you, and you're the only ones who could order these tests, which is perfect.
Yeah, the pattern there, HIDD, and stands for hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, energy production, nervous system. You can get all of that with just 4, 5 labs and include all those plus oxidative stress and a lot more. And the acronym makes it easy to remember. So just a little bit more about my background. I'm known for having run or reviewed thousands of labs for thousands of people. I started in the last century, 1999. So in 22 years, I've run thousands of labs. I've trained thousands of people now. And, you know, you learn a few things in that amount of time. I decided early on that I wanted to be the last person patients needed to see. They're all caught in the cycle of trial and error. I work with some of the top leaders in alternative medicine. Then it turned into complementary medicine, and then it was integrated medicine. Now it's functional medicine or personal medicine. Again, ran a lot of labs. Now, the trick to our training is that I made my own observations. In addition to the great mentoring, no one's run that many labs before. No one ever had. And since then, I don't think anyone has. So that allowed me to develop FDN and the Dress for Health Success protocols. That way we can teach you how to fill that needs gap. We all know it's there. We don't have to teach you that part. And end that cycle of trial and error. And this works on all the practitioners that come to us because they all seem to have an issue. And then they get to go duplicate it with their clients.
Yeah, and the amazing thing is Reed really practically invented virtual, telehealth. He was pretty much the first one. But I want to say one thing for all you graduates of FDN, and even those that are still in the class, the ability to learn from somebody who's run over 10,000 tests. There's nobody else out there. That's why FDNers are so successful. You just need to follow the step-by-step that you're given, those that graduated and those that are still in the training. Just keep yourself open to do exactly what you're taught to do, because that always works. It's when you decide, well, I'm going to do this. No, follow what we teach you in the course. There's no other course like it, and that's really what you want to do.
Yeah, last year when COVID hit and people had to close their offices down, they lost their jobs and things like that. They had to go home and remodel their garage or something to work out of. We all said we already work from home. And matter of fact, last year was a banner year for FDN and a lot of our practitioners. And it is because we work distance. And just like we're working today with you guys, I was lecturing farther and farther away from the office. And the farther away I got, the harder it was for people to come into the office. And I just finally said, you don't need to come in the office. I'll mail you a package of all the stuff you need to know. And then we'll go over it on the phone, usually with the spouse, usually a husband, listening on an extension, just hoping he'd hear, something like why his wife is acting so crazy or something. But we got it all straightened out and invented distant coaching over 20 years ago. So here's another beauty that I had to invent because, see, I was working in the clinic for 10 years under the doctors there, and everything was hunky-dory, and they trusted me, and I developed a system, and I never once gave a medical diagnosis or treated anything specifically. We did this the right way with all of their mentoring and admonitions and things. So I created a completely separate way of helping people that does not cross the lines. And in that sense, I expanded our backyard as non-licensed practitioners, health coaches, and what have you. And then when I started training, I had to come up with this new way of doing business. It's called the Medical Director Program. It meets the client's expectations and needs because you're not showing up just with ideas. You're showing up with facts and figures, their test results. That's what they want to see. It's a whole series of tests, like Dr. Al said. Now, you can order these out at fdnconnect.com. That's our portal for all of our students. If you're not in our program, you can't use that. You need to check with our staff who's on the line now about how you could get access to that. But basically, the client receives this test kits and pays the lab. That keeps our noses clean, keeps us out of it. And we have agreements with them that we receive the test results. What are they going to do with it? Nothing, because if they just go to someone who isn't trained properly, they're going to get the wrong information anyway. And then you meet with the client to review. It's really simple when you know the steps to take.
This is really, I call this health coaching gold, because this really opens up the doorway for you to do things that no other health coach could do. So literally, when you go into the medical director program, you go into the FDN Connect portal, which test do you want to order? You want to order all of them, just like we train you. Why? Because then you have an entire collection of data and information that you could meet the client's expectations. Remember, you don't run labs right away, your credibility's down the tube, but now you can go ahead and order the test, no other way to do it, so take advantage of it. That's what separates you as an FDNer from any other health coach. I always say that if anyone's a health coach and they're not running labs, then they're running into a problem building their business, they're running into a problem getting clients better, and there's no other medical director program that's out there. Anyone else sitting on this call, if you're not an FDNer, you can go home now and just make a call to the career counselor, because you need access to FDN Connect so you could run those labs.
Well, don't go away just yet. Now, because you need to know about shifting the client's belief system. Why do you think we have such a high success rate with our clients? Well, it's our onboarding process. We know exactly who to work with so that we're going to get results. And sometimes it's not who you expect. You might talk to someone who you think is going to be trouble, but when you talk to them the right way, you're going to change their belief system. They no longer think that you're there and you're going to give them some magic bullet. They realize that they're just going to get on a path. And, we make that change in their mentality by using the objective data, the clinical correlation. That's a special skill that I love teaching. I wish we had more time today. They learn about metabolic chaos. And this is what people are looking for, as Dr. Al has said so many times. They are now too smart for the diagnosis and treat model. They don't want to just go to the doctor and have them say, oh, your blood work looks fine. Or worse, like, oh, you've got this out of range, here's your pills to change the paper, without really having any effect upon the person.
I told this story the other day, and a lot of you here were on the first training on Tuesday, and a lot of you are welcome, of course, to come back Saturday morning. We'll talk about what time we're starting on Saturday with the training. But Nutrisystem spends $250,000 a month on Facebook advertising their food delivery system, and whether, I'm not here to tell you that's good, bad, or my opinion of that, but what I want you to realize is that up until about 6 months ago, they advertised that if you sign up for Nutrisystems, you get a week of, I think, Reed, you said it, belly busting shakes. Well, now if you watch their advertisements on Facebook or on television, they say now you get a week's worth of immune boosting shakes. Why is that? Because they realize that the people that are out there no longer are interested in just weight loss or just this or just, they want to be healthier. They want to have lower risk. So it's critical for you to make the shift using metabolic chaos, because you're in the best position to do that. Now, we always talk about in the course, as you know, about people stuck in the cycle of trial and error. What does that mean? Well, it simply means that when people go to a doctor or a health coach, they literally have an expectation, as Reed pointed out a minute ago, that you're going to give them something that's going to make them feel better, take away their symptom. The problem is that is a failed system. It never works. And as a consequence, they're not going to reach their goal of being a healthier person. And now people are more interested in being healthier. So I always would say you want to ask the client who's already been to 7 other doctors or 5 other health coaches, do you believe that you have an incurable disease? And they'll always go, no, I don't, absolutely not. And I'll always say, well, why is it that no one else has gotten you better? And they'll say, I don't know, I went to this health coach or this doctor. And I say, I'm going to tell you why. You have an expectation and they try to live up to that expectation. That expectation is that you're going to be given something that's going to make you feel better. But only people that need to make a change are people that, what we say, has a dysfunction. There are people who are sick and people that are high risk and people that have symptoms only because there's a dysfunction. When your body functions properly, guess what? You don't have any of those challenges, which is why we call ourselves Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. You have a functional problem. Do you understand that? They shake your head. What we specialize in as FDNers, guess what? Of helping you improve function. No one else does that. We're the only ones who teach people and make a functional change in their body. So the FDN system that you have in your hands is the most powerful tool there is. It changes their belief system to your belief system, which is really what ultimately they need. And then not only do they get better, but they refer their friends and their family, because they now run around telling everyone, I finally found someone who's going to take care of the dysfunctions in my body.
And I just have to tell this real quick, because it's been going on for years, for decades now. Over 20 years ago, one of my earliest cases was this sort of miracle. It was when I was just learning, but this boy was on my football team. I coached football for 15 years, and his mom came in and said, hey, he can't come to practice on Wednesday, but can he still play in the game on Saturday? I said, no. You got to show up for practice. You got to know the plays. You know, as coaches, we always said it's safety. You know, he might get hurt if he doesn't know the plays. Really, we're just punishing them. But the truth is, you know, that was the deal. So she said, he's having these asthma attacks. I said, have you ever checked? Let's do some tests. And within a very short period of time, like almost instantly, when we found out what was wrong with him, his asthma attacks went away. Now, that was reward enough for me. I was very happy to have him back. Everyone's happy. The mom's happy. The boy's happy. The team's happy. But his dad came to me on that first game day back and said, man, I really have to tell you how much I appreciate you, and your stuff works, which he was just amazed. He thought that it was quackery that his wife was doing. And I want to tell you how that made me feel. And that's the feeling that we work for. The money's good, but when you get rewards like that, it will change your life too. So Al, you go over these steps here.
Okay, so ultimately, realize this is that we give you as part of the FDN program. Most of you who have graduated know it. Those in the middle of the course are first experiencing it. But we don't just teach you how to work with the client. We literally give you a step-by-step program of where to start, what to say, what to do, what to recommend. So literally, we call it 3 steps to discovery, our onboarding calls. And you could read this at your own time. It's in your lessons, but ultimately realize that I said this before, you have the best system available to you, but you must use it. So when we go over the 3 steps to discovery and onboard calling in your lessons, please follow them.
Yeah, so I love this part, and of course, just going to emphasize one thing on this slide, but the module on onboarding is absolutely life-changing. It will teach you to be in complete control of your practice, your time, your finances, your own health, and there's so many rewards attached to doing this work. So obviously, we're covering the main complaint, how often it bothers them, how long we're going for. Those are qualifying questions. What have you tried so far that hasn't worked? And that's the contrast what we do. And then other questions that are going to motivate them to actually follow your program. The one thing that's perfect about this method is that I haven't mentioned myself once in here.
Oh
It's
man.
all about them. Everything
Yep.
in the interview has to be about the client or prospective client, what's going on in their life. Only then will you be able to get them to listen to you and what you could do for them.
Yeah, they only care about themselves, and that's not a selfish thing. They're the ones that are the client. And when you learn to listen to what's going on, right away you develop a relationship in the beginning that they know you're interested in helping them, and that's really all they care about. Again, this is all in your lessons, so make sure that, and even if you graduated and you're not using these tools, review the lessons. You have access to the
Yeah.
lessons over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, I spend a good, 10 minutes on each question. It's even longer,
Cool.
so giving you life examples and things. So when you do this kind of a thing, you don't have to worry about finding clients because they're going to find you. And matter of fact, millions of them are out there looking for you right now. And when you offer what they're really looking for, you just can't be beat.
Yeah. And as it says, you're going to eliminate the cycle of trial and error because you're going to be working on metabolic chaos. So it's not going to be they're going to leave you and look for someone else to help them. You're going to be, as Reed said, his goal was ultimately to be the last practitioner they needed to see, and that's what you're going to be. And as a consequence of your credibility and developing and meeting clients' expectations, you can ultimately write your own ticket for what you charge. And the fact is, when you go through the processes that we teach you, the more you could charge, and the more you can charge in the client's eyes really gives you even more credibility. Their finances are never an issue when you have the tools that you have at your fingertips as an FDNer.
Yeah, just exactly right. Think about all the people who have a health problem, millions and millions. The amount of money spent on drugs in this country last year was $500 billion. Another 120 billion was spent on supplements. Now you know they're mostly just chasing symptoms, so they're all caught in this cycle of trial and error. And guess what they're looking for? They're looking for you. So
Absolutely.
now we have graduated a lot of people. One of my most successful graduates is Jen Maleka. She created this practice business essentials for us, and she shared it with us. And this is another beauty of FDN is the community that we have. When you've trained 3,000 people, a lot of them rise to the top, and they start paying it forward. Paying it back. Like here's what I found. Here's what I found. So it's a group sourced program now after all these years of tremendous contributions. And Jen brings to mind the 4 E's of exceptional service, the way you enroll, the expectations you set, the way you execute your business program, and of course, engagement and all the tools and modern stuff. Look, I developed one of the busiest nutrition practices in the country. All I had was a pager and a fax machine. So imagine what you could do now with all of the stuff.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. When Jen started doing her health coaching before FDN, she was basically charging I think $500. She said, now these 4 E's are things that she learned in the course, and she just sort of put her spin on it. But now she charges up to $7,500 per client, and gets it. So the materials in the course are there for you. Just use them. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, she really does do the first class, and we do this too in the course. It's a matter of setting examples and things like that. But she gives everyone a welcome gift. I guess if you're charging $7,500, you could send them some probiotics and some protein bars, right, Al? Yeah, but
No,
it's first
no,
class.
no question about it.
When I go stay at the Ritz Carlton, you always get the little chocolates on the pillow. Like that's first class service, and you got to think
And
about.
people appreciate that, right?
Yeah, they are customers. They're clients, they're patients, but they're also health consuming customers, and you got to treat them with first class service. So this is another huge thing. There's you can make up your own steps, but here's some pretty good guidelines for you.
Yeah, these are great. I just want to say to everybody again, you can go to the next slide because what I'm saying has nothing to do with that. I just want to remind everybody that if you have questions, we're not taking them. We're not even taking them at the end. You need to click on that link if you're not an FDNer, because we're not here to sell you FDN. We're sort of pulling back the curtain so you could experience what our FDNers actually experience. This is really primarily for them. You will get a copy of the video just for showing up, so I just want to remind everybody that you will get that. So go ahead, Reed, I'm sorry.
Okay, this is a summary slide, and when things are really complex, and the human body, I think it's the most magnificent thing on the planet, or maybe even in the universe, but it's really complex. I mean, you have 10 trillion cells. That's a lot of cells, and they're all trying to communicate with each other, and they all have a little brain, they all have a little intelligence there. So that's a lot to add up. That makes it really critically important to have a unifying and simplifying approach. And this is that approach. We, as health consultants, counselors, coaches, even physicians and do-gooders, we coach up the vital reserve. That's that intelligence I mentioned that's in every cell. Same intelligence that holds the planets together in our solar system, and our solar system together in the bigger. It's just so big and complex. But we coach up that intelligence with diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplements. The DRESS program, it's really well thought out. We teach you everything you know about the right diet for each person and all these things. And then we coach down metabolic chaos, the known stressors, hidden stressors. It's really, that's the unifying, simplifying approach in such a complex world.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, this is great. Well, let me say something about this. This is a picture of a group of FDNers from our really annual meeting, and what I wanted to say to you FDNers is this. You'll see on the left all the things that we give you to participate in, to learn, rub shoulders with other FDNers. And for some reason, a lot of you think, well, I'm not at the level they are, so I don't want to be part of the pro series, or I don't want to, participate in some of the events we have. That's how you get to be at that level. So each one of the things you see are intended for you, whether you're a student or whether you're graduated. No matter how knowledgeable you are, you want to participate. The reason we spend so much time, effort, and energy making these things available to you is so it makes it easier for you to get to the level of the best FDNers in the world. So make sure you take advantage of these things.
Thanks, Al. And I just want to say this is the group of brave souls who showed up for a conference we had here in San Diego. And if you notice, they're all smiling, and they're all smiling for a reason, because they're with their people, they're with their own folks. And we're using, like I said, I grew up basically on pager and fax machine in this industry. And now we're using everything like that official clubhouse calls. It's just a ton of fun. And I want you guys to know that when you are finished with the course, and if you are already finished with the course, make sure you go and join the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. They have a drop down on their website, FDNs, sign up here, and they will instantly send you your HHP certificate. So not only will you get your FDN certification, you'll automatically get your HHP designation from the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. We also qualify for CEUs, the number of other organizations. I'm on the board of directors or advisory board of some of these, and it's just really an incredible, huge community. And we stand out among others because we have a proven system. All the top functional health professionals are using it. It's science-based. It's based on well-chosen labs, completely in highly individualized protocols or recommendations. We are the only ones even seeking to resolve metabolic chaos at the levels that we do. And my original mission from 20 plus years ago, when I got ticked off, when I found out these people had all seen 10 people already, was to be the last person they need to see. And you can do that and feel amazing doing your best work, helping clients to feel and perform at their best.
Yeah, I just want to say something about number two. Number 2 and number 4. Number 2, run the right labs. Which is the right labs? all the labs.
Yeah.
FDNers, just go into the FDN Connect, and when you order the labs, you order all the labs. Stop guessing which labs. That's what other health coaches do. You run all the labs because you're the only one resolving metabolic chaos, and that's what everyone's really looking for.
And finally, my friends, this is how health coaches use functional lab tests to grow their business and get endless referrals. For you students and grads, just go to your portal, as we've been saying, fdnconnect.com, or email support. This is another wonderful thing. Last thing I'll say, and that's how amazing the support is. I interview every graduate, or my COO does, and what we find out is how much they love the people. We've got a huge support team helping you to move forward. And once you graduate, we have that alumni association that will help you. Email us, go to your Connect portal, and let us know how we can help you. Now, if you're an aspiring health professional, you're a health coach or any kind of sort of do-gooder. Most of you will probably have some kind of college, some kind of certificate in something. Whether, like me, I started off as a personal trainer, nutritionist, and body worker. And so let me tell you, that helps people, but it doesn't do a fraction of what we actually have learned to do. So you can go to fdn.today/career, or use that email address that's right there.
Yeah, and I think there's probably, the link is still in the chat, thanks to Kay Marie. There should be a link in YouTube and Facebook also. I just want to say one thing. We are doing the same class Saturday morning, 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, 10 o'clock my time on the East Coast. We always do it a little differently because we're free flowing. This is not a written script, or this is literally as the things come up that we feel is most important for you FDNers to know, whether you're graduated or you're still in the course. We always bring something new to it, so please jump on with us on Saturday morning. Again, one other thing I want to say is everyone here is going to get an email. That follow-up email will have a link to the replay, so you could watch it, start it, stop it, go over the 8 points that we gave you of, questions you ask, all the different information that we went over. And you're also going to get a link to a survey. Please fill out that survey. It takes you like 2 minutes, but it tells us what kind of things as an FDNer you want us to focus on a little more when we do these type of trainings. It'll help us, but more importantly, it'll help you. So hopefully we'll see you on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. Reed, I think that's it for me. How about you?
Yeah, that's it. Except for that, that one on Saturday will be the last one of the month. We won't be doing these again for a few weeks. So this is just kind of your last chance today. Bring a friend on Saturday with you. Watch it together. It's okay. We love people, and we're here to help as many as we possibly can. And we'll see you on Saturday.
Fantastic. Be